Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
Yeah, welcome. And today we are actually pulling our material from a fantastic SpeakDuo lesson.
Right, which is based on that classic British police show, New Scotland Yard.
Exactly.
Right.
Season 1, Episode 2, I think it's called, The Comeback.
Yeah, that's the one. And, before we jump completely into this deep dive, just a quick reminder that you can go to SpeakDuo.com. It's an amazing place to meet new people from all around the world, practicing English on video calls. It really helps you build that speaking confidence.
Oh, absolutely. And you're going to need that confidence because our mission today is very focused.
Very focused, yeah.
Like this deep dive is strictly for advanced English learners. We're looking at nuanced, high-level idioms, so absolutely no fluff today.
Right, no basic dictionary definitions. We're really putting these 15 phrases under a microscope.
Yeah, we're going to compare them to simpler alternatives so you can really grasp the exact nuance, right? The underlying psychology of the words.
And we'll give you real-world examples, things you can actually use with colleagues or a boss.
Or if you're trying to impress an examiner in an IELTS speaking part 2 response.
Oh, that's huge, yeah. So to really make these stick, I thought we could kind of weave them into a bit of a narrative.
I like that. Like a story.
Yeah. So picture a detective working a case late at night. Kind of fits the New Scotland Yard vibe, right?
It does, yeah.
So let's say our detective or, maybe a corporate project manager is looking at a timeline and engages in what our source calls wishful guessing.
Wishful guessing.
Which to me, that sounds exactly like wishful thinking. Is there actually a difference there?
There is, and this is exactly where IELTS examiners will catch people out.
Really?
Yeah, because wishful thinking is entirely passive. It's just like a hope lingering in your head, like hoping it doesn't rain on your day off.
Right, just a passive hope.
Exactly. But wishful guessing implies an active assumption. You're taking that hope and applying it to a concrete action, like a business projection, rather than relying on actual data.
Oh, I see. So if I'm in a strategy meeting, I might tell a colleague, assuming the client will renew without renegotiating the contract is just wishful guessing.
Yes. You are actively calling out their bad methodology, not just their optimism.
Okay, that makes sense. So because someone made a wishful guess on the timeline, you're now stuck at the office working in the small hours.
Which is brutal. In the small hours refers to the very early, dark, quiet hours of the morning, usually past midnight.
But wait, why wouldn't you just say you were working late at night?
Well, because late at night is just too broad,
How so?
And late at night could be 10:30 p.m. while you're comfortably making tea and reading a book.
Yeah.
And the small hours specifically implies approaching dawn.
Like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.?
Exactly. The literally smallest numbers on the clock. It carries this heavy sense of isolation or serious dedication.
Yeah. Got it.
So if you're answering an IELTS prompt saying, I was up in the small hours finishing the Q3 financial report for my boss, it instantly proves you are grinding away in total silence.
Well, everyone else was asleep. I love that physical connection to the clock numbers.
It paints a great picture.
So you're alone in the small hours, looking at a file, and a weird name catches your eye. It rings a bell. Which is just a fun, quirky way to say you remember something clearly, right?
Actually, no, it's kind of the exact opposite.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Saying I remember means you have the complete, reliable file open in your brain. You know the concrete details.
Okay.
But if something rings a bell, you only have this tiny spark. Like a name sounds slightly familiar, maybe sparking a vague memory of an old school or teacher, but it's not a reliable memory.
Oh, wow. That is a crucial distinction. Like claiming I remember in a meeting when you aren't actually sure could get you in serious trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
So instead you'd say, that software vendor's name rings a bell, but I can't recall if we used them in 2023.
Exactly. It tells your colleagues you recognize it, but you need them to fill in the blanks.
Right. Okay, so then let's say a colleague pulls up that vendor file and you suddenly realize this is the vendor that ruined your last project. You don't just remember it. It gives you a turn.
Give someone a turn, yes.
Yeah.
A brilliant phrase.
How does that differ from just saying you were surprised?
Well, a surprise can be purely intellectual, right? You can be surprised by a statistic and just, raise your eyebrows.
Sure.
Giving a turn implies a physical jolt. It's that brief gasp of shock. To completely startle or genuinely shock someone, like thunder in the night, or a sudden, crazy message from an old friend.
So it's very visceral.
Very. So in a work context, you could say, the sudden drop in our quarterly projections really gave me a turn.
That really communicates that moment of panic. And, building on that detective analogy, when panic sets in, people start acting shady.
Oh, they definitely do.
Which brings us to the darker side of social dynamics. Tricks, bad influence, getting caught. Let's look at two phrases. Being easily led versus to lead astray.
Mm-hmm. The key here is passive versus active.
Okay, break that down for me.
So easily led is a passive personality trait. It means you're easily influenced, like joining bad clubs or following high school fashion trends just to fit in.
So it's a vulnerability.
Right. Whereas to lead astray is the malicious action taken by someone else to actively distract someone morally or practically.
Like a bad friend suggesting risky shortcuts.
Exactly. So to describe a workplace dynamic, you might say, the junior developer is talented but easily led. Older colleagues led him astray from the main project goals.
You capture the whole toxic relationship in one sentence. That's powerful.
It is.
So these bad employees, they try to cover up their mistakes by pulling a fast one, which means cleverly deceiving someone, right? Like swapping labels on files.
Yeah, notice the nuance of the word fast there.
Yeah, what does that add?
It implies a cheeky or clever trick, like a street magician moving cups around. It's different from just bluntly lying. Pulling a fast one is an orchestrated trick.
Ah, okay. But they don't get away with it because someone gives the boss a tip-off. Now, a tip-off sounds a lot like giving someone advice.
Not quite, no. Advice is open, it's freely given. A tip-off implies secrecy.
Oh, like insider information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like getting early access to sales or discounted tickets or a whistleblower. So you'd say, we got a tip-off that the supplier was going to pull a fast one with the delivery dates.
That is such a savvy business phrase. But for the employees who got caught, that tip-off means they have just put someone in it.
Yes, meaning they caused severe trouble.
Like forgetting files for a major meeting?
Right. And putting someone in it can actually be accidental. It's different from intentionally throwing someone under the bus, which is calculated.
Well, intentional or not, they put the team in it, and now HR is going to feel someone's collar, which means to officially hold someone accountable. But I have to push back on this one. Yeah, I mean, feel someone's collar sounds way too aggressive for a modern office. It literally sounds like a police officer physically grabbing you.
It does. And you're totally right about the imagery. But that is exactly why it's such a brilliant, dramatic metaphor for severe workplace accountability.
You don't think it's too much?
No, because it elevates a simple reprimand to something much more serious. It invokes that physical arrest imagery.
Okay.
So you could warn a colleague, by missing that deadline, you put the team in it, and HR is going to feel your collar. It means a very serious conversation is coming.
Got it. And I'm guessing that leads to our next phrase, to fall out, meaning a severe disagreement where people stop being friendly entirely.
Usually over money or a huge misunderstanding, yeah.
How is that different from just having an argument?
Well, falling out implies a long-term or permanent break in the relationship. An argument can blow over in a day. A falling out is structural.
So for an IELTS prompt saying the two co-founders fell out over the company's direction, that shows the relationship is completely dead. Okay, moving away from conflict, let's talk about how we express urgent needs and shifting dynamics, starting with something crying out for something else.
Like a room needing a bright rug or a kitchen needing an update.
Right. But it adds emotional urgency compared to just saying it needs a fix.
Right, it does. It adds this obviousness to it.
So you'd say our onboarding process is completely outdated. It's crying out for a digital overhaul.
Perfect example. It practically personifies the process, making it sound desperate.
Then we have hand it on a plate, getting an easy success without effort.
Like getting a promotion via a mentor or first job via family contacts, yeah.
It's different from just being given an opportunity, right? On a plate implies they didn't have to sweat for it at all.
Precisely.
But is it always meant as an insult? Like, he didn't have to network or interview, the directorship was handed to him on a plate. That sounds bitter.
That's a great point. It can be a critique, definitely, but it can also just be a humble acknowledgement of your own luck or privilege.
Oh, like admitting you had a head start.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what about to tag along? Joining someone without a formal invite, like a kid following an older brother to football practice.
Right. It differs from a company because it's informal.
And it acknowledges you aren't the main participant. So I could say to my boss, I know you're meeting the CEO later. Do you mind if I tag along to take notes?
Perfect. It's polite and shows you know your place in that specific meeting.
Nice. And our last phrase for this section is out of circulation.
Removed from public availability.
Like a rare book or a bakery closing down. But how is that different from just saying it's unavailable?
Out of circulation implies the item or person used to be highly active or widely passed around, like a library book.
Ah, so it has a history of being used.
Exactly. So you'd say that old software manual is totally out of circulation now.
All right, I think we have a solid grasp on these. Let's transition directly into our interactive quiz to lock in the learning.
Sounds good. Let's test them.
Okay, I am going to read 8 questions based on exactly what we just covered. I'll read the options as option A, option B, and option C.
And remember, you can pause to think.
Yes, feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer. All right, question 1. Which sentence uses the idiomatic phrase in the small hours correctly based on context? Option A. The professional miniature crafts artisan was instructed to measure in the small hours during the precision model construction. Option B. The deeply frustrated young retail clerk aggressively managed to completely drop a white line. Option C. Working tirelessly by the desk lamp in the small hours of the morning, the detective finally cracked the financial cipher. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option C. Just to remind you, in the small hours refers to that late-night quiet house context past midnight.
Perfect. Question 2. Select the context where the phrase pull a fast one is most appropriately used figuratively. Option A. The fraudulent contractor tried to pull a fast one by billing us for premium materials while using cheap substitutes. Option B. The professional track and field sprinting coach was instructed to pull a fast one during the 100-meter dash time trials. Option C. The incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly buy some large systems. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
That one is option A. Remember, pulling a fast one is all about that clever deception, like a trick or swapping labels secretly.
Exactly. All right, question 3. In which situation does someone accurately utilize the advanced phrase out of circulation contextually?
Let's hear them.
Option A. The professional plumbing and water circulation technician was instructed to check the pipe out of circulation. Option B. Following the rare books theft from the National Archive, the museum curator immediately declared all remaining copies out of circulation. Option C. The completely terrified young wilderness traveler unexpectedly noticed an exceptionally massive, heavy tool chest. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The answer is option B. We talked about how out of circulation means removal from public availability, especially things that used to be passed around.
Right on. Question 4. Which response best demonstrates the advanced phrase, a tip-off, figuratively? Option A. Thanks to an anonymous tip-off from an insider, the investigative journalists uncovered the offshore bank accounts just before publication. Option B. The professional basketball tournament referee was instructed to give a tip-off at the center court circle. Option C. The incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly catch that white balance. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
That would be option A. A tip-off implies that secret, inside information context, not just regular advice.
Halfway there. Question 5. How would a professional accurately use the phrase wishful guessing contextually? Option A. The professional statistical probability analyst was instructed to perform wishful guessing during the market projection model. Option B. The completely confused amateur theater group unexpectedly decided to proudly paint a clean frame. Option C. Assuming that the missing ledger pages would turn up on their own without an audit was nothing more than dangerous wishful guessing. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct choice is option C. As a quick reminder, wishful guessing is that active, optimistic assumption based on desires rather than facts.
Great. Question 6. Which scenario perfectly illustrates the meaning of the phrase to lead astray contextually? Option A. The professional wilderness hiking and tracking guide was instructed to lead astray during the survival navigation exercise. Option B. The corrupt senior partner attempted to lead the junior accountant astray by encouraging him to falsify the quarterly expense reports. Option C. The incredibly clumsy hotel maintenance worker accidentally managed to completely drop that red tray. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
And that one is option B. To lead astray is the act of misdirection, pulling someone away morally or practically from what they should be doing.
Almost done. Question 7. Which sentence accurately utilizes the advanced phrase, feel someone's collar, contextually? Option A. Armed with sufficient evidence of the embezzlement, the inspector was finally ready to feel the suspect's collar and bring him in for questioning. Option B. The professional clothing tailoring haberdasher was instructed to check if the shirt collar felt comfortable during the fitting. Option C. The deeply confused young kitchen assistant accidentally managed to quickly slice a fresh piece of collar. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The answer is option A. Remember, feeling someone's collar is that really dramatic physical metaphor for strict official accountability.
All right, last one. Question 8. Which of the following statements correctly uses give someone a turn contextually? Option A. The professional carnival ride amusement operator was instructed to give someone a turn on the carousel. Option B. The sudden loud crash from the server room really gave the IT manager a turn, making him jump out of his seat. Option C. The incredibly clumsy warehouse worker was happy to give someone a turn with the heavy lifting. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
And the final answer is option B.
Ah.
Because giving someone a turn is about that sudden physical jolt or startle, not literally taking turns.
Well done if you got all of those. It really proves you're grasping the nuance.
It definitely does. And, before we wrap up today, I just wanted to leave you with a final reflection to kind of mull over.
Oh, I love these. Let's hear it.
Well, language isn't just a stale list of definitions, right? It's really a museum of cultural footprints.
A museum, yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. Phrases like feel someone's collar, originating from a physical police arrest, or out of circulation, coming from physical library books. It shows how yesterday's physical actions evolve into today's psychological and business concepts.
That is such a fascinating way to look at it because, if you look around your modern digital workspace right now, you really have to wonder.
Wonder what?
What digital actions or tech errors from today are going to become the advanced English idioms of 2050?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right. Are we going to say someone got 404'd when they are intentionally left off an email chain? The language is literally evolving right in front of us.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the nuances of advanced English. We hope you feel a bit more confident using these out in the wild.
Keep practicing, and we will catch you next time.